So the question, I just have two questions if there's time, but the main question is his mother contacted me via text, then voicemail over a week ago, which was on the 30-day deadline to respond to being served, and 2 days after my last call with my husband, and said that he asked her to communicate with me. I haven't spoken to her in 17 months except one birthday text a year ago. My question is this an opportunity to minister to her by sharing my faith, see if she can get him to the workshop, or just listen and keep that boundary up?
When you say boundary, what boundary are you talking about?
I have previously not spoken to his family. I've just kept communication between him and I over the last 21 months.
Mm-hmm. And so you didn't actually talk to her, but you did hear her voice and you saw her text. What kind of a tone of voice did you hear?
It was just, hi, I spoke to him and he asked me to communicate with you. And she put like an emoji prayer sign. So
do you have any idea what she wants to talk to you about? Any clue?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a good thing or, my first thought was that maybe, of course we can assume all day and analyze all day, and I don't try to go down the road, but I was first thinking, well, maybe he was thinking maybe if she talked to me that things would change, but
things would change.
I don't know.
In what way do you think he would think that things would change? I know we're guessing, but what would you guess?
I know, like maybe that I would just agree and sign the papers. I don't know.
Okay. So what do you have to lose? If you talk to her, I realize you've made those boundaries, but if you decided to respond and just say, okay, I'm willing to listen, what risk would that be to you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it would be, I guess the risk for me, I guess I'm thinking is that I know that it's healthier to communicate directly with my husband and not third party.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, okay. Now, if that's what's most comfortable for you, and you're absolutely right, the best communication is face to face with the person. And so if Mama is being an interceder of some kind, I can understand. And if you were to say, not going to do it, I can endorse that and say, it makes sense to me. I can see, Amanda, why you would do that. On the other hand, maybe you're different than I am here, but I'd be curious. It's like, okay, I'll give you one visit just so I can find out what it is, because it may give you some insight into what he's thinking. Now, it may not. And even if you get the insight, it may not tell you anything you don't already know. You might like, okay, I get the insight, but I knew that already. If you don't want to do that, Amanda, I think that's absolutely fine. I don't think that you're doing anything wrong by avoiding that. If you do that, it sounds to me like you're a strong person, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so it's not going to be like that. She's not going to bully you into doing something. She's not going to weep and cry and manipulate you into doing something. I mean, I'm
right.
Sure you're compassionate, but you're not going to let her manipulate you. And so it might be worthwhile just to see. If nothing else, it may be kind of saying to him, I am willing to listen. I'm sure you've said that in many other ways, but it's kind of a demonstration of that. But one way or the other, I think whatever you do is fine. I don't know that it makes things better or worse either way you do it. I'm just saying if it were I'd be out of curiosity wanting to find out, what's he told her to do. But that's totally up to you. Now, you said that you have two questions. What was your other question?
So once he receives notification of my response, he may or may not contact me or my attorney. At this point, he represents himself. So I'm sending the marriage info to my attorney so that if when he speaks to my husband, he can bring it up at the appropriate time, as they cannot include the workshop in the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So my attorney wants me to send him appropriate workshop info. It's not the entire website, so he's familiar with it being more than just counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, what specific marriage helper info do you recommend sharing with my attorney so he's equipped for a potential call with my husband?
That's actually a good question. Have you been working with one of our client representatives by any chance?
Yes.
If I may ask who you're working with.
Amber has been awesome. I started with Jim as a coach, and I've been with the SM at the beginning. So.
Okay. Yeah, both those people are awesome people. As a matter of fact, I'm surrounded by awesome people here. I'm the least talented guy in this whole bunch. It's amazing to get to work with these good folks. It might be worthwhile, and of course, I don't know what your attorney might charge you, but it might be worthwhile to have your attorney call Amber, make arrangements with Amber where she says, okay, I'll spend 15 minutes with him. But then again, he may want to charge you for those 15 minutes. So you need to think that carefully through because, attorneys can wind up charging a lot of money. If you want just the short version, it's this. It is not counseling or therapy. It's an educational approach. And in that educational approach, we do not manipulate. We do not put pressure of any kind whatsoever. It is primarily, and as a matter of fact, it's altogether, teaching some really good, solid information from the social sciences about relationships to help people understand how they got to where they are, and if they choose to fix it, how they can. And we have a pretty high success rate. About 90%, by the way, of the people who come in are people with one spouse that does not want the marriage to work. So one spouse does, one spouse doesn't. And yet over the years, we've had a success rate, and which is just phenomenal to me as well. We've had a success rate over the years that 3 out of 4 couples actually wind up saving their marriage. But that's not from any pressure, manipulation, or whatever. Now, sometimes couples afterwards will work with a coach like Jim, or sometimes they'll go see their own therapist, that kind of thing. So I think the emphasis to the attorney from you, which would be short, or from Amber if he wants to spend up to 15 minutes asking her questions, would be it's educational. It's not manipulation. It's not pressure. And in the educational process, we've been doing this for 20 years. This is the 20th year of that workshop. In those 20 years, we have learned about how to put all this information together and present it in such a way that is comfortable, that's even entertaining, believe it or not, that's highly educational, and that opens people's eyes to how do we get to where we are, what are the potential paths forward from here, and if we choose to put it together, how can we do it, including things about how to forgive, how to get past, all those kinds of things. Now, that's the very short version. And are you there?
Yes.
Okay. I just heard some kind of a ding. I don't know what that was. That might have been our computer over here. Sorry about that. I almost jumped out of my skin there. Does that help, Amanda, or would you rather he talk to Amber for a few minutes?
Yes, that sounds good. Thank you so very much.
Okay, Amanda, I hope things go really well for you. By the way, if you talk to the mother-in-law, I'd love to hear from you. I'm really curious now, okay? If you choose to do that.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.